Welcome back. In the previous video, we saw how you can use methods, whereby you can create your method here in your class, give it your two arguments, then come here down, create an instance of that class, then give it the two arguments we have created here, then output your result here. When you return something and you give this a variable, you'll be able to see your result. So when you compile this, this will work as intended. But there is something more interesting. What if you have two numbers? What if you have three numbers and you want to add using the same method? When you come here, let me create another variable. Num, num 3. This variable, I've created this variable. Now I want to come and add the third one, the third variable. You see that the add method is not accepting. You can do this by coming here and adding it here as a third variable, as a third argument in this case, and you add it here. This will work as intended. But what if you have a use case whereby in some areas you are adding two numbers, and in some areas you are adding three numbers, and in some areas you are adding more than three numbers? What will be the case? In this case, you see that it is successfully adding three numbers. But what if you want to add, you have more use cases of addition and you want to use the same method, but in some use cases you're adding two numbers and in others you're adding three or more numbers. When you remove this number here, let me say you're adding two numbers, you will see that this won't accept anywhere. You're giving these three numbers, you're telling this that I'm having three numbers and you're passing it, and here you're passing two numbers. This won't accept. So what would you do? So here in Java we have what we call method overloading, whereby you can create the same method. In this case, I have duplicated that. You can create the same method and just change the arguments that you are passing. Let me say you have a use case that you want to just pass two numbers. In this case, we know this. You just come here in the first method. You just come and remove the two, the third one, and down here you see that it is now accepting three arguments. Why? Because of this method that I have created down here. This method is accepting three, and I can create more here. I can create more. My second will accept only two numbers. In this case, this one will be the one running because this one is accepting two numbers, and in the first case we gave it three numbers and this one was the one accepting the three numbers. You see that this one is working as intended because Java gives us that extra capability of doing something like that. You can reuse your one method but in many ways. That is called method overloading. You can see that we have successfully printed out our result. Result 2 is consoling this one and we are giving it two arguments, and result 1 we are giving it three arguments. This can be done even more, whereby you have something like, let me reuse this. You have something like public add, and let me say you are expecting a double, or you are adding a double data type. So you can only change this. So in this case, let me just put like 2. So if you add a double plus a double, here in this case, let me say one number is a double, and I can remove this, being that I have already removed the third one. You will see that this cannot convert double to integer. You see that this returns a double, not an integer, because a double returns a decimal. If you add an integer plus a double, you will get a result which is a double. Yeah, so when you come here, I will create the fourth variable, in this case int num4 is equal to 10.3, then terminate. But remember, while using a decimal number, it has to be a double or float. In this case, I'll use float. So I'll create another one here down, say int my result 3 is equal to, I call the instance that I created dot add, then I pass the double, I pass num4, which is the double, then I pass num3, which is an integer. So when I reach this side, the double, which is num1, you can see that we are getting issues. Cannot convert double to int because this is expecting a double outcome. Remember, our method is also a double, so you see that this is working as intended. So when you output, let me output like 3, and you see that we are using the same method, but we are passing different arguments. You will see that we have successfully added using this method, which is returning a double. So you can use multiple functions or multiple methods in many areas, but only changing arguments. What cannot be done is that when you duplicate this or when you use this and try to give the same type and the same argument and the same name, this would be rejected. This won't be accepted. But when you change the arguments are the ones that matter a lot. The data type does not matter. The arguments are the ones that we focus on in this. So that's it for today. That's called method overloading, whereby you can use various methods to perform a specific task. And remember, a method is simply a block of code that performs a specific task. Meaning here, I have reused my method in many ways, but using the same method, the add method. So that's it for today. Thank you.